In my video yesterday, I was getting into the stuff when it came to the sex scandal in 1992, and it was a scandal to do with the WWF ring boys. One of the ring boys, his name was Tom Cole. Tom Cole tragically took his own life 3 years ago. His brother Lee, I would say, has really been on a big crusade to expose the McMahon's for what he would deem to be the evil empire. And he's not just been exposing Vince, but he's been also exposing his wife Linda for covering up a lot of stuff. He alleges that Linda had reached out to his brother when just as she was running for Senate, that she had reached out, not just her, but Jenny McDivitt, the McMahon lawyer, as well, to ensure that Tom Lee's brother wasn't going to start talking about this stuff when it came to the accusations that he had been sexually assaulted in the 1980s when he was working as a ring boy for the WWF. So he and there was a video that Lee premiered on his channel last night, and he says that, well, it's not just with Vince and Linda, that Stephanie would have known all about this stuff and Shane would have known all about this stuff as well. But with this video, I was wanting to get into the whole Vince Linda marriage, because with all this stuff coming out with the allegations with Janelle Grant, with sex trafficking, sexual assault, it was around when they first came out in 2022 about the board was looking into this $3 million hush money payment, that it came out that Vince and Linda hadn't actually been together, that they had been separated for quite some time. Vince inadvertently let the cat out of the bag when he was on the Pat McAfee show around March 2022, and when he was talking about the past, and then he mistakenly, well, I say mistakenly, but it was a slip. He wasn't thinking. He said my then wife Linda, but from what our understanding is that they're still actually married. They're legally married, but they've been separated for quite some time, for years. Some people have even claimed that it might be decades they've been separated for. Vince Russo had said that when Bruce Pritchard went to TNA in 2000, this would have been late 2010, early 2011, he had said that, quote, Vince and Linda had been separated for years. How many years exactly? But with this, though, with Vince and Linda, I've got this photo here on my screen. This is when Vince got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That was around 2009 time. Vince and Linda would have been on the red carpet, having a kiss. So you'd think they're still very much in love, still very much a happy couple. But this thing, Bruce Pritchard's saying that they've been separated for years, and Bruce Pritchard is very much in the inner circle, because that's the thing. Vince wouldn't have been revealing this to just everybody and anybody. The only the people like Bruce, Pat Patterson, Kevin Dunn, obviously Triple H, maybe your top guys like your Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, at a push at that time, John Cena, might have actually known about this. Maybe. But it would have been very much a secret. And the people that were told about this very much would have been understanding. They wouldn't even have to have been told that this has to be a secret. But the thing is, it's a little bit, I don't know, questionable to me that if they've put on this pretense like they're still very much together, like they're still together as a couple, is that not quite, have they not misleaded a lot of people with this? And people will make arguments, well, they did it for good reason, for the sake of the family, I don't know, for their kids, but then you can make obviously the argument, well, their kids are grown, but then in that case, would they have been doing it for the sake of the grandchildren? I don't know if you can make that argument. But this thing would have been a very much what's best for the company, because if it came out that Linda was nothing more to do with Vince, that she had had enough, that with all this stuff, and it's all come out about paying off numerous women, using company funds to pay off numerous women, that something must have happened. There must have been one moment where the straw broke the camel's back. But this was 2009 time, Vince and Linda sharing a kiss there. And it was around that same time that Linda stopped. She was no longer the CEO of WWE. She stopped in 2009 time, and then she started to get into politics. And that's when she was appointed to the State Board of Education by Governor Jody Rowell in January 2009. And then she started on this, that's the State Board of Education for Connecticut. And then she started on her Senate campaign. In 2009 also, Shane McMahon left WWE, which was seen as a bit of a shock to some people, because a lot of people thought that Shane and Stephanie would be running the company. So maybe something happened around that time, 2008, 2009 maybe. But who knows? Who knows? But with this, I mean, it's a funny one because, Vince really, with the Mr. McMahon character, was showing you what he was really like, his true nature, I feel, with how he acted. That was him times 100. And it started, I mean, it was only about 2 going on 3 years into the Mr. McMahon character that it went from he's getting off of Trish, he's getting off of Tori Wilson, he's getting off of Stacey Keibler, he's getting off of Dawn Marie, he's, Candice Michelle, you name it, all these women. And all the stuff now you hear about Asha Mazzaro and what she was saying, that she had witnessed Vince making out with divas in the locker room. So it's just crazy to think, why the hell didn't Linda divorce Vince? Why the hell, with all this stuff that's come out, going back to 1986, the allegation with Rita Chatterton, why the hell did she not just wash her hands of him and move on? It's I mean, is that a naive question to ask? Do I just not get it? But why did she not just move the hell on? I mean, this goes back. I mean, the story goes that Linda and Vince McMahon first met. He was 16 and she was 13. Some would say that's a little bit, I don't know, age gap like that. But again, they're both teenagers, so it wasn't like it was, illegal. But that still is quite a young age to me. But, Vince McMahon and Linda got married very young, as a lot of people did back then. Shane was born in 1970, when Vince was 24. I believe Linda was 21 or 22. Stephanie was born 6 years later. And it's a weird thing with the McMahons. I started getting into WWE in 2000, and I kind of, looked at the McMahon family, even though they were just seen as dysfunctional on TV. I kind of, looked up to them. They seemed like an alright, like a good family. And I don't know, just a thing with this, they had 2 kids. I've come from parents that have had 2 children, and me and my brother. Shane and Stephanie, they're 6 years apart. Me and my brother are 6 years apart. I don't know, there's just something, I was always drawn to the McMahons. But I was always specifically drawn to Shane. Shane was one of my favourites growing up. Shane seemed like a real cool guy. Just like a cool, laid-back, easygoing kind of guy. And then Linda seemed nice. Linda just has something where she's got this kind of motherly thing to her. And it's funny when you think back to the WrestleMania match, Shane versus Vince, but then you've got Stephanie in Vince's corner, Linda in Shane's corner. And then Shane and Linda are the baby faces. The heels are Vince and Stephanie. Maybe that was an accurate reflection on how things really are, But Shane seems like a cool guy. But just the thing with Linda, why the hell stick around for this? But you would stick around for this because there must have been someone for you to benefit from this. So we don't really know anything about Linda's personal life, and I don't really care to know. She could be seeing someone else. I don't know. But with this, though, it appeared that they were still together. And with this stuff, though, so, why didn't Linda get a divorce from Vince? But there's a video I want to show you, and it's Jim Cornette, and he's talking about this stuff, and he was very much around. You could say at one point he was in the inner circle in the mid to late 90s. But here's the video, and Jim Cornette's talking about this, on why Linda McMahon never divorced Vince.
And here's something else people have been saying. since this has come out about Vince, well, why didn't Linda divorce him a long time ago? She could be filthy rich. She'd have half of every. Somebody out there thinks Linda McMahon is hurting for money. What do you think? They just didn't do the divorce. The settlement was already made. What'd she spend? $80 million to run for Senate? Like she's going to be a fucking senator?
Said it was $50 million of real money, though.
You know, all the other things that she has done and gone on to do, that was her settlement. She don't have to do shit. She's got all the money she needs, and she can go flit around and try to... She went from Vince to Trump, which is definitely a fucking trade down. When you think, we've said Vince is an articulate, eloquent, intelligent, good-looking president pig shit. But, you know, she didn't need a divorce to get her settlement. She's living her own life, doing her own thing, associating with other rich billionaire assholes, and running for offices she's not going to ever win.
Remember when she lost?
Spent $100 million overall on that failed Senate campaign.
But they had a shot of her, you know, giving the speech saying that she's sorry they didn't win, conceding, and Vince was at the back of the stage crying.
I've never seen.
You never saw? Oh my God! He's crying.
He was crying over the $40 million that he just lost for nothing. See, I can think, even if they were on the outs, Vince and Linda, I can see him thinking, okay, if she becomes a senator, then I'm in. I've got the fucking...
Still has a shitload of money to lose.
Not only the insider trading professionals on my side, but I've got the fucking government on my side, and I've got a mole in the White House and all this other stuff. But, you know, when she lost...
What were they like together? I mean, because you were in their house and, you know, it wasn't just always Vince. I mean, you did see her around. Were they like I hate to put it this way, were they a normal couple? Were they lovey-dovey? Did they tease each other? What were they like as an actual couple?
Well, they weren't they just spoke to each other. Like, we would be there on Wednesdays, usually. Sometimes they changed the day, but on Wednesdays at Vince's house. But by the time we got there, we're supposed to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. So me and Bruce and or Shitstain would have to leave our homes up where normal people lived about 2 hours early. So
is Vince Russo, that Shitstain.
To fight that traffic 40 miles to Vince's. Linda was already at the office in Stamford. And then a lot of times when it got to be 6:30, 6:45, especially in the season where it's dark up there, and we're looking out the windows, we're waiting for headlights to see Linda coming back from the office, because when she would come in, she would say hello and mention something to Vince that they needed to do, and that would hopefully wrap up our confinement, and we'd be able to get the fuck out of there. So you would...
Right. So with this, I mean, you know, so he's saying around that time of 95 to 99 that they were very much still together. They had a big house mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut. And with this, I mean, I know from Russo speaks about, you know, Vince, and he was around there a lot. I suppose at that point he would have been part of the inner circle. And, you know, he talks about 1998, Vincent McMahon and Linda, they go on dates, they go to the movies, that was something. And Stephanie, I remember even bringing that up on a promo in 2000 to Vince about that they would go to the movies, Vince and Linda. So I think they were very much still together then. I don't think they'd separated at that point, you know. But Vince, I mean, gosh, it's like all this stuff, you know, going back to Rita Chatterton, which when she came out publicly in 1992, I think Vince ended up countersuing her. Or maybe she hadn't sued him already. He sued her. And I just wonder, what the hell was Linda thinking at that point? Did Linda just think this is just some bitter, disgruntled employee? She must have thought to herself, well, there could actually be some truth to this. You know, and it's just madness. But then the whole thing with Janelle Grant, it's like, you know, I mean, I don't know what happened, but maybe she caught him cheating, and then that was it. It was like, get out of my life, done with you. And maybe Vince left the home. She kept the home. She kept the $40 million mansion in Greenwich, and that's. I mean, you had Vince in a condo apartment when he's 74, when he was, you know, with the woman Janelle Grant that was in the same apartment complex. And it's like, I know that wouldn't have been exactly like affordable social housing, but still, you think like a guy that's supposed to be a billionaire on paper where's his $1 million mansion? Why is he living in a condo apartment? And apparently he said it around 2022 that he was losing it. So, yeah, maybe this guy isn't really as rich as they make out. He could have been maybe in the hole, in the red. I don't know, with the XFL or anything, or other things that he spent money on. I don't know. But I very much would have been, I think with Linda, the reason to stay with Vince, it must have been because that was best, maybe not just for family, but best for her and with what she wanted to achieve with, politics and business, that they decided, okay, we're going to just optics. That's the most important thing. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But also there's another video, and this is Vince talking about, this was Vince when he was on Howard Stern's show back in 2002. And this is Vince during this talk, and he's admitting and he talks about cheating on Linda McMahon. So have a listen to this.
And you've admitted to the temptations in your life, in your personal life.
What temptations?
Well, he's married 28 years, but he's banged a lot of chicks. Yeah, you banged your share. You banged your fair
Is
share.
he cheating
No,
on?
he's not cheating.
What do you mean?
Last 6 years, you have not had sex with a different woman than your wife. Is that correct?
That's very true.
That is true. But he does not lie.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Hold it. Did he
I
get
know.
a pardon for all the other years?
No, they get a pardon.
Now, when you admit to stuff like that in an interview, does your wife give you holy hell when you get home? I mean, it's amazing that she stays after you admit that, because most guys figure their wives are going to split.
Right.
Or did she get back at you and go out and bang a few guys?
No.
No way.
No.
He wouldn't say
I imagine even Howard Stern's toned it down somewhat
Stuff, yeah.
past 20
The
years.
whole God route, honey.
No, I never did the God and Jesus.
I got no time for that. No. But so in other words, there's a lot of temptation. When you're a billionaire, you're a nice looking
Who
guy.
are you doing?
Yeah. Who are you doing? Who did you
Me?
get? Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
No one.
No,
Just-
years ago. Who'd you get?
Oh,
Give us the list.
If it had a skirt, So,
Really?
yeah.
I mean, was it just the girls who hang around wrestling, or did you go outside?
No, it was, fair game.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, no, I just,
Famous women?
Let me smell your fingers.
No, I don't. No, but I mean, it's just one of those things where you wake up one day and you recognize, that, it's not just all about, your individual sexual gratification. It's about relationships.
And did your
whatever.
wife know this was going on?
Gee, I hope I get to that point.
But I think, when she married me, I promised her several things. One, there'd never be a dull moment, which there hasn't been.
I'll say.
He did say that in the McMahon documentary.
Sex and love are two different things.
He had
For a
said
guy,
that.
Guy, yes.
yeah, you got to have sex. It makes you
So
feel
how
good.
do you train your penis not to wander?
Yeah.
It's my mind, not my.
They never
penis.
actually give him a chance to speak, did they?
I'm working on training my penis. That's where I've been.
Female
going
co-host
wrong.
always
That's
just
why I
butts
lost half
in.
my money. I can't believe my penis. Train the mind.
Okay.
I knew it.
Doing the wrong thing.
No, so like you must have had some broads. I mean, unbelievable. Do you go for
What do you go for?
Yeah, do you find it sexual? Like China, I don't get how she is sexual. I've had her on the show, lovely woman. I feel bad.
That's all
She
this
has
guy
tough
talks
life,
about,
big
isn't it,
moves.
Stern?
But do you get turned on by that kind of woman? I don't see you with that.
Really, I don't know. I'm sort of like, I like the all-American type, and my wife actually is like what I really like.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure I wouldn't like.
That was a good answer. But yeah, Howard Stern though, I mean, he's something else. I don't get that appeal with Stern. Don't get that myself. But there you had it, Vince saying, anyone with skirt. I don't doubt that. That's probably what his mindset was. Anyone with a skirt, and it was fair game. But he admitted to it, and but she stuck by him. And even with all these other allegations, there was Rita Chatterton, there was the Tanzabar incident, 2006. Was it the incident with a spa worker? That was 2011, I believe. So it just keeps going on and on and on with Vince. But there was never a divorce. Never. We've divorced. But with this, though, I mean, could is it possible that she will divorce Vince with all this stuff with the Janelle Grant, her allegations? I mean, maybe a divorce is coming. Maybe, I don't know. But on this Storytime with Dutch Mantel podcast, so Dutch Mantel gives his thoughts, and I think he has a feeling that she could very well divorce Vince and get a lot of money out of it. Get a lot of money out of that. So here we go. Listen to this.
A common thread in the court papers is Grant wants to break off the relationship with Vince. Vince refuses. Ms. Grant feels that she needs the money. She's got nowhere else to be. It's one of those things where it's stuck in between a rock and a hard place. And Vince, another thing that happens is that Vince insists that the relationship must be kept quiet for the sake of appearances, even though, and this will become a common theme as well, Vince and Linda are long since separated, even though legally still married, but that Vince keeps telling...
When did they separate?
Years beforehand. We don't know the exact date on that. What do you think about Linda McMahon in all of this?
Well, she's going to take all of it. I mean, how much do you think Vince is worth?
If he sold all his stock and everything, it'd be worth something like $3.5 billion, something like that.
She's going to get $1 billion of it.
Got $700 million from the merger.
This is what I think.
Think she'll divorce him now?
I think she will now. Didn't she have divorce proceedings against him anyway? Or no?
I thought they were just separated.
Well, maybe just separated. But, I think Linda's smarter than
Vince
what
told
they
Janelle
give her
Grant she
credit
was long
for.
gone.
Because she knew when all that other stuff came out about him, how he was, what he was about. And she didn't leave him then. So now this comes out. It's nothing new. It's just, he was just, I think Vince was just stupid. He got old. He got stupid. He thought he can't be brought down. Well, he can be. And I think now they're seeing it. A stupidity. I don't know. Here's Vince. I don't know. If you got all that money, why would you have to do that?
Because you can. Because you're hypersexualized. Because you warp sexuality.
Something. It's something. He's mentally wired differently.
That's for sure. Mentally wired differently, for sure. And that's pretty evident when you see the Mr. McMahon character. You can see that this guy is not all there a lot of the time. But, interesting point there with Dutch mentality. Yeah, I think that Linda's very smart, shrewd business person in her own right. Absolutely. And I still personally don't get it that she didn't divorce him personally, just from a moral standpoint. I understand how it could affect the family, the children. I mean, some people will say, like Eric Bischoff, people like that, feel so bad for Linda and stuff like that. But I mean, one thing is, if Linda's known all about this the whole time, and it kind of appears that, well, there's that loyalty there to Vince that she's not got a divorce from him yet, then you might say, I don't want to say karma, but then all this dirty laundry being exposed now, if it had been dealt with or been addressed sooner, and I don't know, maybe they tried, Asha Mazzaro's best friend was saying that basically there's something there where Vince needs help, people said the same thing about R. Kelly. Obviously, he had a problem, but Vince, with the things and the text messages, if they're true, there's some problem there where, you need some type of help, professional help. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy, all this stuff in the wrestling world, all the stuff that's come out. I'm just crazy to think now that, Vince was at the helm for years. He was the man. He was the owner. But it's totally different now. WWE, UFC merged. It's madness. All the changes in the past 2 years. The game has really changed. But I have this photo here. They very much seem like a happy family there. This was like 1999, 2000. Some might say that this is like a family now destroyed with all this. But that's stuff that can happen. It can be money, greed, power, lust, sex, But it's it's dark times in the wrestling world right now, And you can bring back Rock and you do the whole finish the story thing, but there's still there's a dark side there to wrestling. We enjoy it. We enjoy the entertainment. We can get caught up in the drama and all this and the atmosphere, but it can be quite toxic though, wrestling. But the McMahon family just isn't the same anymore now, is it? It's just not the same. But that's my video for now, guys. So thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe, click the like button. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on all this. And do you think that Linda would want to get a divorce now? Will she divorce Vince, or would she still stand by him? That at least they're still legally married. But that's my thoughts for now, guys. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.